Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So I'm feeling in a great mood. I just got done with the first session call of Love and Money Masterclass. If you're interested in that, it is Love and Money Masterclass, the Feminine Energetics of Receiving. It's going to be a great class. That first call was amazing, and I'm excited for the next session tomorrow. If you are watching this when it is launched or when it goes out, published, that's the word I wanted. This will be Thursday. We'll be having our third session on Thursday afternoon. They are all recorded, so you can hop in at any time and watch those videos after. If you are watching it live, obviously that's going to be even more powerful. But if you have questions about that, you can email me, find me on Instagram. I'll be happy to help. So today we're going to talk about being the strongest energy in the room. And it's not even necessarily that. It's actually more about predetermining how you want to respond to a situation. So, as you all know, we are in the mix of the holiday season, and we just had Thanksgiving a couple of weeks ago, and we are now moving into Christmas, right? And chances are there are probably a bunch of Christmas parties and maybe family events that you're going to be partaking in, and maybe you're feeling a little nervous and anxious and not so eager to be a part of these events, right? Maybe there is a family member who always asks you the question that you really don't know the answer to, or maybe there's a family member who is kind of grumpy and like just a little bit of a downer in the mood, and you're like, I really just don't want to engage with that person, right? But like, so how do you manage essentially yourself in these situations? And this is part of emotional intelligence. And part of emotional intelligence is actually deciding beforehand how you want to respond. Okay? So when you watch a movie and the leading actress and the leading actor, they get into this kind of lover's quarrel, they always seem to say the right thing with like the perfect emotion behind it. And you're like, gosh, how are they able to say such the great thing with the perfect emotion behind it? When I yell at my spouse, there's nothing beautiful about it. I ramble about how I can't stand the fact that he left his socks on the floor, right? Like, there's nothing beautiful about the way that we argue in real life. And the reason for that they're able to do it so well in a movie and make it look so beautiful that then they have this incredible passionate makeup session, right? Where they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I said that thing. I love you, blah, 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 right? Like, we're missing that in real life. But the reason we're missing that in real life is because those lines are scripted. They knew exactly what they were going to say, that the emotion was able to come out beautifully, effortlessly. And we think, why can't we do that? Because you don't know exactly what you're going to say in advance. Unless you've thought about it. Unless you've decided in advance how you're going to respond. And the only reason you're going to know that is if you've taken the time to say, okay, I get myself in this situation pretty frequently. How do I want to respond the next time it happens? I have this conversation with my children. So-and-so just happened, or this thing just happened. And is that how you want to respond next time? No. Okay, so how do we want to respond next time? Let's take the emotion out of it, because when emotions are high, intelligence is low. And when we're emotional beings, we're simply reacting to what somebody else has said to us, as opposed to choosing how we actually want to respond in advance. And so, before situations arise, Now, not all the time are you going to be able to know in advance and plan in advance, but you can kind of practice and talk about it and set an intention for it, where maybe you're not necessarily the strongest energy in the room, but you know how you're going to want to respond to somebody. And you want to be intentional about it instead of reactive. Reactive is childish. I know, I was there this morning, full disclosure. I had an emotional meltdown this morning, okay? But I recognized it and said, you know what, that's actually not how I want to respond. So let me bring my girls in close, let me apologize, let's cry this out, hug it out, and then we're going to choose again how we respond next time. And it's about building your emotional intelligence in these situations so that you can respond from a higher place, from the place that you actually want to get to. Because the truth is, we don't really want to spout angerness and emotional crap all over the people that we love. But when we don't choose in advance, we don't decide in advance, that's what happens. The same thing happens when we spend, when we eat. We do a lot of things habitually because we did it already, that it's simply a reaction that we don't actually think about. And so when you want to change the way that you engage with somebody, you want to change the way that you're eating, or you want to change the way that you're spending money, you have to slow down long enough to make a plan ahead of time. And choose in advance of the situation. So that when the situation shows up, you don't go, oh shit, I just did that again, right? You've actually slowed down long enough to say, you know what? I'm going to choose differently this time. I'm not going to let Aunt Jane ruin my Christmas party. I'm going to invite Aunt Jane, and I'm going to be super sweet and nice to her. I'm going to take her off guard. I'm going to de-arm her. Because the truth is, people communicate in only two ways. Giving love or seeking love. And if they're not giving you love on the holidays, they're definitely seeking it. And so you can respond differently when you slow down and go, okay. All right, I see where this is coming from. Okay. So how do you choose in advance if you don't know how a situation's actually going to unfold? You can say, the next time I feel such and such, I'm going to give myself a minute to step away and choose how I want to respond. And that's how I first started. Because I would get set off, triggered, activated, whichever word you wanted to use. Trigger would probably be appropriate. I would get triggered in a situation and I would lose my mind. Literally, my emotions would just come spewing out of my face. And you're like, whoa, Steph, what just happened? Because chances are it's never about the situation that's actually happening right there in that moment. I had this conversation with a client. We were talking about how he left his socks on the ground and his wife lost her mind about the socks. And I said to him, it isn't about the socks. Chances are it's that she doesn't feel heard because you left your socks on the floor again. And it's just bringing up all the times that she feels she hasn't been heard. It's not about the socks. Nobody cares if the socks are left on the ground. It's what the socks symbolize, and she actually cares about. And so when you can start to unpack this, when you can start to look at things a little bit more objectively instead of subjectively, you actually get to show up in situations differently, in a much better place of power, where you are not reacting to everybody else's energy, but you are deciding in advance how you want to show up. Okay? So, If you are intrigued by this conversation, if you feel like this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg, it is. It's a little bit of a teaser. This is the work that I do with my private clients. On a deeper level, we start to work with the emotional intelligence. We start to shift things so that you are able to show up as your most powerful self. Because really, isn't that what we all want anyways? So, if you are interested in working with me in the new year, I do have private spots available. By the time that this is being published, it will be closer to the tail end of the Love and Money Masterclass, but you can still hop in. The calls are being recorded. Right now there's only 5 sessions, but I do feel like there's probably going to be a couple more that will come through maybe in the new year. And you will get access to that until I run the next round of Love and Money Masterclass. So I am sending you so much love. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.